demonstrate the other heap project, because this one here is the one I had at first and this does show you how to exploit the heap, but only in a very simple way. And a more realistic one is where you don't have a pointer stored on the heap. So that's the next one here, which is ED206. So let's take a look at this one. It should be all set to go. So if I exit this, all right, and then go to that place. All right, so now let's take a look at ED206, point C. All right, so it's structured the same way, and I've got a winner function that's going to print out a flag, and a main function here, and now you call it with 2 string arguments, and it has these, it just makes an object called internet, which is just 3 integers, 3 integer pointers. And so it allocates one and allocates another, I1 and I2. And then it does string copy into a string in each of those. So there's the internet is an object that contains priority number and a name, which is a string variable. And it reserves room for only 8 characters there. But then it copies things without limiting it to 8. So you have heap overflows, and there are 2 objects in a row. And notice it does not explicitly call free, but when the program tries to leave, it will implicitly call free. I think that's what's happening here. So when you compile this one, if you run that, ED206, it's going to tell you I need 2 arguments. Okay, string 1, string 2. And you can see I somehow missed the backslash in the end here, so it doesn't go to a new line like it should, but that doesn't matter. So I can give it A, and B, and then it runs and just prints, and that's a wrap folk without crashing. But at a certain length, it will, of course, crash. So if I make the first argument longer, there'll be... Okay, it crashes. So something caused a crash, which is interesting, and I might be able to get by with less. That's a crash. And that's not a crash. So this appears to be the minimum string to cause a crash, and that might be good enough. So let's take a look at it in the debugger. All right, and so if I run it with those arguments, it then crashes, and it crashes, notice, not in the code I wrote. It crashes inside a system library, libc, with this funny variable. So now this is the thing that makes it more confusing than a stack crash, because in a stack crash, I would just see some of the letters I put in the instruction pointer, but I don't. But I can examine why it crashed. So if I do examine, say, 2 instructions at EIP, I will see that it crashed on this operation, which is moving EAX into the address pointed to by EDX. So if I examine the registers, I'll see EAX is BBB and ECX is the 6th letter, A, B, C, D, E, F, F, F. So it tried to write the contents here into the address there. So I do have a write operator, and that of course was invalid because this address is outside the area of reserved for this program. So now I can execute a write operation. I can tell it what to write by putting it here, and I can tell it where to put it by putting it there. And of course, where to put it is just, again, winner. So there's the address I want to write, or that's the data I want to write in there. And now I just need to choose an address to write to. So to do that, I can just go, let's go here, make this bigger. Just getting another terminal window that does not have the debugger running. So I can run objdump -D, or -R for relocation records. And I can find out, here's the location of various relocation records, and exit looks like a pretty good hit. I can check that by disassembling main. And if I do, you see it tells me what happens here. There's a print, and then there's an exit. And here I have, that was where it was going to exit if you didn't have the right format. Here's where it does the malloc, and then it calls malloc 4 times to reserve place on the stack. Then it calls stir copy. This is where the overflow occurs, one or the other of these stir copies. Then it calls puts, and then it calls exit. So I could overwrite either puts or exit, and then it would, after one of these stir copies, it would run. So I could might as well target exit. So now I have the address to hit, which ends in 0C, and that's the data to write, or this is the location to write to, ends in 0C, and the function to target is winner. So that's again the same story. And so I think I have a series of exploits here. I think I did it all at once. So if we just cat H11, you'll see what it is. This is the address of winner, and this is the pointer of the exit function. So all you have to do is take the pointer to winner and write that into location of the exit pointer. These things are just little endian, and that should do it. So this exploit, so if I run that, okay, it prints those things. And if I run this program, ed206, and I take the output of that thing as the arguments, got to put // in front of it, don't I? Okay, that should do it, and it does. Again, you get a winner, and then it crashes. So that's how you exploit a much less contrived example. It just allocates space on the heap, but it has the mistake of not keeping track of the length of the variable, which is this very common vulnerability in C. All right, and that's what I wanted to show you about that one.